Billy, this is a special place for you, isn't it? Tell the viewers where we are.
We're in the kingdom of New Cumnock, my home village. It's where it all started. It's just down from my mum's house, a stone throw, Greenhead playing fields. So very basic, but where it all started for me.
So how old would you have been, Billy, when you first started playing here, first properly started kicking the ball about?
Just boys round the corner from my mum's, you're talking. I was probably about 10 and they were about 13, 14 older boys. And then my primary was Cairnhill Primary, and I was really young. I was probably P4 or P5 when I got in the team, a lot of P7s. And I was playing a game, funnily enough. My mum and dad used to shout on me all the time, 3 o'clock, your dinner's ready. And I hadn't told them I was playing my first game.
Was your mum and dad be at the top of the hill or either or?
Yeah, just
shouting at you?
Right out the front door. And 3 o'clock on the money. And then if they didn't come in 5 minutes, they would shout again. So 3 times they shouted, and I was playing left back for Cairnhill Primary, and I was pretty embarrassed.
Left back?
Left back.
Can't imagine you left back, Billy, to be honest. Can't imagine that.
Nah, I wouldn't say it led to a career for me, because I wasn't defensive minded, let's say.
How can you score goals from left back, Billy? I mean,
I was fit then. I could go up and down the pitch. I was a young lad. They saw something in me, but anyway, I got in. That was like, as I said, I was probably 2 or 3 years younger, 4 years younger than some of the boys that played, but I forced my way in the team.
I'm guessing eventually you did become an attacker, so to speak, and you were playing up
Some
front
say
in
that,
these pitches. But you eventually in these pitches you were playing up front, scoring goals.
No, then I stayed a defender for a long time until my boys' club years came along, and I played for East Ayrshire, and then a club called Kyle Home, where I got picked up to go to Chelsea. So that was about 16. So I was pretty much a defender for the first part of my youth career. And then when I go to the boys' club, they started making me a winger, but I was never quick enough. And then eventually when I went to Chelsea, they made me into a striker.
But when you come, see, I mean, we're stood here today, lovely day. When you look around at these pitches, special memories, is it a wee lump in the throat? All the moments.
My mum and dad, then you just used to have one pair of trousers, school trousers, and they would say, don't get them dirty. sure as, bag in the front door, sneak out, jerseys down for the goalposts up that top end there. Yeah. Just playing across the pitch with all my mates. I mean, loyally every day for years. And holes in the trousers, used to get them washed that night, dry for the next morning to go to school. But
sometimes stitched.
Yeah, my mum would. You can imagine. Ayrshire's. That's where I picked up my swear words. Put it that way. So my mum would obviously give me a hard time, sort the trousers, get them clean or sewn, as you say, and then I'd be back doing the same thing the next day. I was football daft, and I was only, honestly, I could. Those trees are there, but I could just come out the house and walk over the hill and straight down, so it was like 30-second walk.
I mean, that's dream stuff for a kid, isn't it? A football daft kid, you've got a pitch so near. And I mean, was it here that you would have dreams? Was it here that you would kid on you were any number of top players?
Yeah.
This was it?
Yeah.
This is where you thought, I'd love to be a football player one day?
Davie Cooper wanted, because I was a winger there, well, defender here, but then you would always dream of being a winger, and as I get turned into and getting forward. I never dreamed about being a centre forward then, but played wide on the odd occasion as I got older. And then it was Davie Cooper was my hero, and then eventually it was Dalglish, big backside, back into people, hold the ball up. So my game and my career evolved down to certain individuals, and that's the way it, from, like, as I say, 10 to 16, my game changed.
Davie Cooper was some player, wasn't he?
Loved him. I had the pleasure of meeting him when I played with Aberdeen, and we always used to stay at the West Point Hotel in East Kilbride before games in Glasgow, whoever you were playing. And Coops come in a few times and always came and had a word with you. He was just a gentleman. I loved him.
And even though you were an established player yourself and a star, because he was your hero, were you kind of different with him? Were you a wee bit kind of starstruck, a wee bit on of him?
Yeah. Really? I hardly said a word.
Really?
Just stared at him and then... Yeah, Davie, great Davie, nice to meet you, Davie. It was just, you have no idea how I had him in that, held him in that high in esteem. I just idolised him. He was my idol, and then obviously I said Dalglish just modelling on him. But Cooper, used to love watching him for Rangers and the way he played, and what a top talent. And
I mean, you're one of the most outgoing personalities I know in the game, Billy, and yet there you are. You're an established star yourself, but even you are lost for words in the company of your hero.
Yeah, and Aberdeen I was probably 25 at that time. When I went up there, and then we used to go and stay at the West Point, and on a Friday night, and when I saw him coming in, I was starstruck, and that was me at 25-year-old. That's how high a regard I had of the man.
Would he ever pass comment on how you were as a football player, or
I don't know.
did he even say you're doing well or anything like that?
I think he did say it. Yeah, I think at one point he said you're a good player, but I was just want to listen to him, to be honest with you.
Davie Cooper telling you were a good player, my word.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
You take
praise,
that
isn't
credit,
it?
yeah.
Oh, aye. Of course, Rangers fan as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did that come about? What was the influence there
What to
support Rangers?
My father. My
Yeah.
father took me to the Scottish Cup final, and we were in the Hearts End, but there was a lot of Rangers fans. I was a young lad, probably 14. I can't quite remember the age I was, but I remember going to Hampden with the terrace, and my dad took me in the Hearts End. There was so many Rangers fans in there. Derek Johnson scored a couple. I think they won 3-2 against Hearts. Was it 76? You'd have to check that, but I remember my dad taking me to the game, and that's what got me into it.
And that was you. There was never a question of any other team.
No, I know at that time, even coming down here and being from Ayrshire, it's well known for having a big Rangers support, so that you get brought into it, don't you?
Yeah, New Cumnock is very much Rangers, isn't it?
Yes. What are you doing here? You better watch yourself. Am I meant to out you? Is that
Don't
allowed?
know what you're implying, Billy. Don't know what you're
Right,
implying.
okay.
Don't know what
We'll
you're
leave it at that
implying
then.
whatsoever.
Why's your face going red? Your next question, come
I'm
on.
the one that's meant to ask you difficult questions here,
Okay,
Billy, please.
okay.
So, I mean, your first professional club, Chelsea. New Cumnock, Chelsea, is a incredible leap. Give me an idea how that came about.
Well, you see recruitment systems nowadays,
Aye.
and people do all the work. I went on to play boys' clubs, as I said, East Ayrshire, A United to start with East Ayrshire, and then a team called Kyle Home, and we played in the Ayr International Youth Football Tournament, which is still going strong. I know a lot of people who still go and watch it, but it'll be scouts that go now. But the then manager, John Neal, and assistant manager of Chelsea at the time, Ian McNeil, light a part like this, walking around Roselle and Ayr, just stopped and I scored a goal for about 20 yards. I was playing as a winger then, and I remember Ian McNeil saying, "Oh, he's a kamikaze," and he kept calling me that as I went to Chelsea.
Have you got video proof of that goal? I can't remember you scoring ever for 20 yards.
Outside, I never did.
The wind must have caught it.
It was wind assisted.
Only kidding.
It's true. And Ian McNeil and John Neal asked where's his parents after the game. Stayed and watched the full game. I scored the game. We drew 2 each, but got put out in penalties in the semi-final. It was a big tournament, and they asked for my parents, and that was it. I was a month, 2 months, in fact a month later, I was on a train from just outside New Cumnock, Kirkconnell, away to Aberystwyth in Wales, where the training camp was. I had to change 4 different changes. It was a nightmare, 16-year-old, homesick, straight on the train. It was hard, but it was a great opportunity, and it was I signed a 2-year YTS, it was called at the time. So that was from the Roselle tournament. A month later I'm gone to Wales to train with the first team.
So, straight from home, and that's you suddenly in the big smoke?
16-year-old, yeah.
Incredible. I mean, nervousness, excitement, just in
Dread.
total dread, really. Yeah,
It wasn't like now where you got a
understandable.
mobile phone, FaceTime, you could get a flight any time. They gave us 2 flights a year, paid for.
How was your mum about our wee boy going down to
Worried.
London?
Worried. Good people I stayed with though, like in digs. I was in digs in loads of different places. I stayed in Stanmore to start with. I ended up in Golders Green, well, Finsbury Park first at my mum's cousin's, but then her boy was going back down, so I had to move out the house, and then I ended up in Golders Green with the best digs I could ever have stayed in. An old council flat tenement, but salt of the earth people who I still keep in touch with.
Really?
Aye, they both the mum and dad both passed away, but I keep in touch with the son all the time.
That's nice.
Yeah, it is.
That's nice. What, to this day?
To this day, 40 years. He's back and forward all the time.
That says a
Big
lot.
Spurs fan as well, and so was his dad.
That says a lot. And was there other players in those digs as well, or was it just you?
Yeah, eventually it was Craig Burley and myself that were in those digs.
Craig who? Sorry?
Aye, exactly. No,
Whatever happened to him?
Burley was, it's amazing how we both went to Cumnock Academy. He was a couple of years younger than me, but we both went to Cumnock Academy, both played for Chelsea, stayed in the same digs, went to the same school obviously, playing in the same basketball team. And that was because he's taller, but I was the guard, bring the ball up, feed it to boys like him. And then we both end up down at Chelsea in the same digs, then room it with Scotland, play for either side of the old firm.
Fantastic.
So
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
And his wife, Cheryl, she just stayed, her mum and dad were up in that house up there.
Craig's obviously over in America.
Yeah. I've not spoken to him for a while, but
I was going to ask, he's a very successful TV pundit now and has been for quite some time. Very good indeed, as he was a good football player. But
unlike myself,
well,
that's the only way it changed. You never answered that.
Listen, you set the tone. You set the tone back there.
Your silence says it all.
Not at all. You know the regard I've got for you, Billy. But actually, you've not spoken to Craig for a while.
No, not for a few years.
That's just the way things go. Just life.
Yeah.
But if you saw him today, it'd be like you've never been apart. Aye, banter, Mickey taking.
Ran about them for years.
But I mean, Chelsea's so young, Billy, phenomenal. Obviously, the Stamford Bridge then is nothing like the Stamford Bridge we know now, but nevertheless, it's an incredible arena for you. The players that were there.
Yeah.
Do you know something? When I was doing research ahead of this interview, I was amazed at the amount of Scottish players that were already there, Billy.
Yeah. All good players. I could go through them all. Rugby, Speedy, Jury, Kevin McAllister. I mean, there's so many more I'm probably forgetting.
Nevin, John McNaught,
Pat,
John Miller.
Yep, unbelievable.
Certain Scotland manager.
Yeah, Stevie Clark, yeah. Clarkey was right back, came quiet, unassuming, hard tackler, really good player. You could see, he didn't say much, but that frightened a lot of the opposition, but really good player, Clarkey, but there was so many. And then, it's funny, I was kind of pushing to get in the team before I went loan to Partick Thistle, and you talked about me meeting Davie Cooper, but then when you were a boot boy or a YTS, you had to do the jobs. It wasn't like now where you've got laundry ladies and people do the boots and kit men, and I'll have the boots ready for you, so the young boys don't have to do much now. But those days I had to have 2 sets of kit ready, 2 different ones for 2 players. Once you get them dry, you would do the home or away dressing room. You would have to have the place spotless, and they worked our socks off.
Young players today don't know they've lived.
Exactly. Stood you in good stead, made you hardy, because we grafted, even as footballers then. Afterwards I would leave Stamford Bridge at 5 o'clock and I'd be home to Stanmore about 6. But it got you rewards, because I talked about meeting Davie Cooper, but when Chelsea played Liverpool and Liverpool won the league, remember?
Yeah,
Kennedy
Stamford Bridge.
chipped.
Yeah.
John Miller, who you spoke about, he played that game, and I goes in, and the iconic moment, I was on the away dressing room, was remember Kenny Dalglish just sitting with his legs, with his boots off, socks, and the tape, and I was again like didn't want to say a word, but it was my job to clean it, and he was like that. Oh, you're for Scotland, wee man? I says, yeah, and again I was just shaking, and Dalglish, who was my hero, just sitting there, scored the goal, just taking all in. Remember the legs straight out, just sitting in the wooden bench in the away dressing room, and that was when Liverpool would win the league that day.
So you never told him to get a move on because you had to clean that dressing room? No, you never did that, no.
I wasn't as outspoken at that time.
Is there anything I can get you, Kenny? Can I get you anything?
Oh, I was running after him.
I mean, that's
they acknowledged me being Scottish and just, you stick in, son, and he just won the league and done it all, but he'll not remember that, but I'll never forget it.
No, absolutely. The goal was fantastic. Took it in his chest, into the corner. That was his first season as player manager.
Yeah, he scored one against Bruges like that, if I remember correctly. Just waited for the goalie and just chipped into the far corner. But
that image of him is iconic. As he sat there, he's knackered. You can tell it, and he's just trying to take it all in.
And I was just about to start the Hoover.
And you're off camera.
I was just honestly waiting on him.
That's brilliant. But even wee split-second moments like that, him speaking to you, just sticks with you. You've never forgotten it. It's like an inspiration.
Yeah, I was brought up like that. You were told to respect, and I was so respectful to people. Don't get me wrong, I know a lot of people label me as a moaner in the football, but
never.
It was like I gave so much credit and moaned,
yeah.
But I was so respectful to people.
But the thing is, Billy, I mean, all the time I've known you, best part of 30 years, it matters to you, you care. Your heart on the sleeve.
You're brought up here for these parks, your dad being a coal miner, my mum worked in a sock factory. I don't think you've got anything to think you're above anybody else, so I was always brought up with good grounding. Yeah,
and that's stuck with you. You've never changed. No, you've never changed. But
no.
Certainly back then, I think you 3 years at Chelsea, 86 to 89, 5 appearances, 3 in the old First Division that we now know as the Premier League. And that's an achievement. A boy from New Cumnock.
I was doing well because I went down there with that 2-year YTS, and I did kick up a fuss because myself and a player called Gareth Hall, Big Davie Lee was in there as well. He was a bit younger, but Gareth Hall and I were probably the better players in the youth team, and these boys were going on to £400 a week and I was on £27.50, so it was a 2-year thing, but they were becoming pro after a year, so I went in to see. Then it was just as I said, the assistant manager spotted me. I went in to see the chairman, Ken Bates, let him know that I'm not happy. I've been down a year and there's players that I'm playing better than, getting pro contracts, and I'm not. So he sorted me out, Ken Bates, to be fair.
Your late father, Jim, what did it mean to him to see you sign for Chelsea, to go down to London to play for one of the biggest clubs in Britain?
Like all dads, just pride.
Was your dad an emotional type? Would he show it?
No.
Was he?
He had a hard background to him. But a good background, not a nasty, just hard. Didn't want to show his emotion. I'm a man. Men don't cry.
But you knew what it meant to him?
Aye.
And that in itself.
My mum and dad actually got a minibus, their own, that was like a Sherpa minibus. A Sherpa, remember them?
I remember the Sherpa Van Trophy.
Yeah,
I remember
there
that.
you go. Good sponsors. They put a mattress in the back and just drove down to London from here. That's how keen they were to see me in one of the FA Youth Cup games. I think it was a quarter final, and came all the way down in the van to see me, and stopped off bits and pieces, slept overnight probably halfway, but that's how much they did. And you look back, everybody will tell you, when it's like us, we run about after our kids now and probably spoil them, but my mum was driving me to Glasgow, and she wasn't a confident driver. My dad was taking me everywhere. They did so much and you just took it for granted. That's what mum and dads do.
Did your dad, I mean, I'm imagining, Billy, that very quickly you wanted to be a football player. You would maybe say at school, your careers officer. Did your dad ever think you would? Was he ever saying to you,
No Dodds had ever been, there's a few of them, brothers with big families in those days, and some of them about here. I was named after my Uncle Willie, who lived next door, my dad's brother. He had a son, and my Uncle Joe had a couple of sons, but two sons, but they didn't want. Some of them were sporty, and my Uncle Willie's son Tommy, he was a budding goalkeeper. But I was the only Dodds that ever made it at any point. And even I was a late developer, even though I got down to Chelsea. Never played for Scotland till I made my debut. There was no youth path for me in the Scotland, the SFA, the SFA role, the bare role, no. Just in the SFA, like, bloodline really. I never did anything with the SFA before I made my Scotland debut.
I think that, in all the time I've known you, Billy, I think everything you've achieved, I've got huge regard for you because you've grafted for it. You've earned it. The ability's there, but you've grafted for it. The attitude's been spot on. You've wanted it and you've earned it.
That's half the battle. I always say that to players. It's graft and attitude, and then if you've got ability, that'll look after itself. But some people always say that to me. It does annoy me a wee bit because
I don't mean that to be patronising.
I know.
I'm not detracting from your ability.
So many. I know that.
I think
and
your attitude's been brilliant.
I'm not wanting to say I was a great player, but
your attitude.
My attitude was first and foremost, and then I could play because I wasn't quick, so I had to think about it.
You wanted
and
it.
Only people who know me know how thoughtful I was about the game, but a lot of people just go, every time I see them, Rangers fans, Aberdeen fans, you worked your socks off. And I'm thinking, I did a wee bit more than that, but thank you.
No, without question. I would imagine all through your playing career, the one thing that would really hurt you if you looked across a dressing room and you saw a player maybe with more ability than you, but he was kind of half-hearted. I'd imagine that's something all through your career that would really get to you.
Yeah, because I know how far hard work, desire, all the key words can take you, and then if you add that little bit of technical side, your career will look after itself.
You played in the first division, as I said, for Chelsea. Who did you play against? There were 5 appearances and 3 of them were in the first division.
I can't remember. I just don't know. I played in an FA Youth Cup game against Leicester, second leg. They beat us and knocked us out. I think it was the semi-final of the Youth Cup. Gwyn Williams drove me back down to came back down the bus to London. The next morning, David Speedy had injury problems. Gwyn Williams phoned me, drove me all the way from London to Blackburn to make my debut, and Speedy got injured after 20 minutes and I played 70. So I played the full game the night before, knackered. But that's kind of thing. People talk about playing too many games these days, and it is like, you know, sports science and all that, they're right on occasion where too many games, injuries, didn't think about it then. So I was straight up the road, played 70, did really well, and then I was on the bench against Arsenal on the Saturday, and that was my full debut, where we won 1-0 against the top Arsenal team.
Highbury?
No, Stamford Bridge. And Colin West, who eventually, know the Colin West who went Rangers, the winger who was at Chelsea with me, who came to Dundee with me, he scored the goal that we won 1-0 and we held on, and we were real underdogs at that point, but we beat the top Arsenal team.
But it was a loan move to Partick Thistle that I always think properly projected you up here. There was a good spell at Partick Thistle, which then in turn leads to a big move to Dundee.
Yeah.
And you had 5 great years at Dundee, didn't you?
Did, 4 and a bit, before Duff sold me, but I could understand why. I've no hard feelings. I speak to Duff a lot, and I've driven up my games when we've been pundits together. He had to try and change it then. I wasn't playing well, so he had to try and move me on and change it up to try and get something going. But yeah, that's Partick Thistle gave me the experience under Billy Lamont, hard man, taught you to be a man's man. People like John McNaught come up on loan because of the Ken Bates Chelsea Partick Thistle connection. A lot of good ground in there. Some hard people. Billy McLaren worked in there. If you didn't do your job properly, you weren't told, and no uncertainty about it. And then goes back down to Chelsea with that experience, scoring a few goals, centre halves, putting the boot in those days you were allowed to get off with most things.
Well,
stood me in good stead, and then go to Chelsea, and then the next thing, because of Ian Porterfield and Gordon Wallace, they knew one another really well, because I was playing combination football. It was a reserve league then, and whoever never played on the Saturday played with me up front, and I was scoring 2 and 3, and then they weren't scoring, but they were playing in the first team, and I was starting to get frustrated. I was about 18, 19 at that point, and Ian Porterfield did me a favour and phoned Gordon Wallace, said, look, we've got a boy here who needs to play. We've got so many strikers in front of him, Kevin Wilson, David Speedy, Kerry Dixon, Gordon Jury, and I'm thinking, right, I'm never going to play here.
No.
And that's when Ken Bates got the deal done. He didn't want it to be done because he's a wise man, as you know, 50% of any sell-on, and 50 grand I get sold to Dundee for. Of
course, Ken Bates, one of the most controversial, high-profile football club owners that ever has been.
Straight talking.
And you had quite a good relationship with him, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
And then you dealt with the chairman. Now you would, I don't know, in the modern day game, players would really deal with the chairman all the time, not, but it was straight to the chairman then.
But even then, your personality, you were, shall I say, projecting yourself. They knew how you felt about things. You weren't shy and maybe saying to Ken Bates, even though he was the owner, this is how I feel, or this is what I think I should have.
I was respectful because he pulled me a few times, and he used to come to watch every youth team game at the Harlington training ground every Saturday morning before the game. Youth team, Ken Bates would be there, and he always said he'll play for the Old Firm one day. One of the Old Firm.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Did he actually tell you that personally?
Yep.
What did you think at the time?
He told Gwyn Williams as well, but then Gwyn Williams passed all to me, and then he said to me, like, you'll go on to play, have a good career, and you'll probably play for one of the Old Firm.
Did Ken Bates actually think he might have sold you to one of the Old Firm at that point, rather than say Dundee?
No, it was always going to be just
further down the road.
It's learning.
Yeah.
I loved it. I liked to do my apprenticeship, and I liked how Craig Brown worked with Scotland about the apprenticeship. Put you in the stand, get you on the bench, give you a cap, and that's exactly how my Scotland career played out.
I mean, Ken Bates was Marmite, wasn't he? But you did you like him? Did you have a good regard for him? Just because what you saw is what you got, straight talker.
And I was a young lad,
Yeah.
16 to 19, and he was like, he liked me as a player because he used to come to the games, as I say, but he would just tell you straight. He told me when I signed my first contract, he said, sign for 3 years. Gwyn Williams said, no, 2 is good enough for your development just now. So I said I didn't want to sign for 3. I wanted, the boys went up to £400 a week then, and £5,000 for signing on, but for 3 years. But I said, look, I need a car, I need £5,000 to get a car. And he said, well, if you're signing for 2, you'll get £3,000, so you can do what you want with your car.
You come back up, excuse me, you come back up the road, and Dundee was very, very successful. You win your first honour as a player as well. You Challenge Cup and the First Division title at Dundee as well, which are doing magical for you.
Big Keith Wright was... They were all great. Big Gordon Chisholm, who helped me a lot in my coaching career, funny enough.
Yeah.
I know we'll speak about that, but I still keep in touch with Big Chiz. He taught me so much. He played in that game, Keith Wright. Good team we had. We played B&Q Cup final at Motherwell, and it went extra time. We won 3-2. That was my first honour, and I scored the 3 of them, but Big Keith Wright, I'll never forget it. Last goal, 50-50 with the goalkeeper, and I'm like, oh. And by the way, the 2 of them never pulled out, the goalie and him. And right into one another, the 2 of them were lying injured, and I'm rolling into the empty net and away taking the plaudits.
Thanks, boys.
Aye. Big Ted was a great lad. Keith Wright, that's his nickname, and really good player, so hard working, and he helped me a lot as well.
I think that's very quickly a theme in your young career, Billy. Good people early on in your career. Jim Duffy, Gordon Chisholm, Keith Wright, and obviously the guys at Chelsea.
A lot more as well, yeah.
You feel lucky, you feel fortunate that at the right times you had people to influence you, mentor you.
Yeah, and then you saw how good a player he had to be. Mickey Hazard was my favourite player.
Mickey Hazard.
A wee bit like two guy. People always ask me, because you get different types of players. You get your hard working ones with a wee bit of technical ability. You get your technical ones. You get, boys who work hard and got the technical. It's incredible. You get one-sided ones who are just technical and play forward and don't defend. And you get defenders who are solid defenders but don't get forward. But, I mean, it was just... He
was a good player, wasn't he? I mean, for a striker, he'd have been top-notch.
No, he was. But Mickey Hazard I was getting to, because
Mickey Hazard,
he used to treat the young boys at Harlington. He'd come in, he'd Velcro boots like two guys. The two of them, I've never seen players technically gifted like those two. Incredible. I've played with top players, especially when I went to Rangers, but Mickey Hazard was incredible. And he would come in and tell you a story for the weekend, and he would just keep my ball up and doing tricks, talking to like this 10 or 12 young boys who were getting changed in the Harlington dressing room, and all the boys used to just look up to him. What a player. What a player.